Welcome to our second clinical corner. And thank you so much to Tina Abadir who made us that awesome intro picture. It really makes the clinical corner feel legit. So thank you. All right, so each month we will cover one topic and discuss the best practices for teaching that skill. So this month, the topic is token boards. Okay, so why do we use token boards? Well, we use token boards for lots of reasons, but some of the biggest reasons are it's a way to structure our reinforcement. It's a way to deliver delayed reinforcers, so we don't need to deliver a primary or a backup reinforcer after every behavior. We could deliver tokens and then delay that backup reinforcer. And it makes delivering reinforcers more portable, flexible, more appropriate to have in the community. So since the backup reinforcer can be changed depending on the situation, it just allows for much more flexibility. So what are some ways token boards are taught? Typically, we start with one token on an FR1 schedule. I would say the majority of people that I know and that I've seen teaching token boards start in this way. So one response, receive one token, earn the reinforcer. Then we build up from there. So once there is mastery shown there, then we build to 2 tokens, 3 tokens, etc. So a couple questions of the ways that we teach and run token boards. How long do we deliver tokens on an FR1 schedule? So once the token board is mastered, are we shifting to a variable schedule of reinforcement? I would say most likely, yeah, once it's mastered, we're moving to more of a varied schedule. How many tokens are our learners earning? So I've seen token boards up to 20 tokens, and I've seen as few as 5, and I've seen both of those situations mastered for that individual learner. I used to work at a school previously where everyone was taught up to 10 tokens, and then the token board was considered mastered. So, I think in practice, in clinical practice, this is largely individualized per learner. Is there a token exchange required once the tokens are earned? And are we having our learners count back the tokens? So I've seen a whole bunch of different things done in regards to this. So sometimes I've seen learners count back tokens. I've seen learners just count tokens on the board. I've seen no exchange take place. I've seen just a request for the item earned take place. So, it's a lot to think about as far as an exchange goes. Does that exchange give them additional task to do once all of their tokens have been earned? Or does that teach an additional skill? Or maybe the counting back, the exchange of tokens is just the last step of the token board before the individual earns the backup reinforcer. Is eye contact required to deliver a token? So when teaching and once it's been mastered, are we requiring eye contact before we put that token down on the token board? And I've seen a whole bunch of things as far as this goes too. If they are learning the token board, then I would say yes, of course, eye contact should be required. But what about if they're in the middle of an independent task? Would we interrupt the task to require eye contact? So lots of stuff to think about when delivering tokens and when using token boards. So what does the research say in regards to using and teaching token boards? Unfortunately, it's a little bit of a mixed bag across research. I found a great literature review completed in 2017, which is pretty recent. The references are available in the email if you guys want to look at the whole article. But this lit review was specifically about token boards and the procedural descriptions found in research. So what I was talking about earlier are the procedural descriptions. Are we requiring an exchange? How many tokens? Are we requiring eye contact? What are the parameters? What's the schedule of reinforcement that we're using? This lit review was done by Ivy and colleagues, and to my knowledge, it's the only review that looks specifically at the description of the token economy procedures. So, of course, there are plenty of other literature reviews about token economies, but they're mostly focused on their success in teaching skills, descriptions of what's been done, what's been taught, how they but there haven't been any other lit reviews about the description of the components of the token economy. So the researchers here, Ivy and colleagues, found that only 19% of published research even included descriptions of the components of their token economies. So I think the research on what's actually included in the token economy is a little slim, but I'll summarize for you some of the answers that I could find to our questions and just about the best practices. So to start, we don't have much research to go on when almost 100 of the articles reviewed, so 96 articles to be exact, only 18 of them included the procedures of their token economy. So Ivy and colleagues found people are not reporting what the defining features of their token economies are when reporting research. So it's no wonder why things seem to just be constantly individualized across the board, and there's not a lot of consensus about the best practices to run a token board. Of the procedures included, here's what the research says. So there's two main ways that they found that have been shown through research to teach a token board. So the first is direct pairing with already established reinforcers. So I took this to mean teaching it on an FR1 schedule where one behavior earns one token and then earns the backup reinforcer, which is mostly how I think we are teaching token boards and token economies now, and then build from that one token further. The other was a verbal description of the token economy system. For example, if you do this behavior, you will earn a token and then you can earn your backup reinforcer. So TV time, iPad, or whatever is their preferred reinforcer. So this might work for some learners, but I still feel like the pairing process would really teach the token economy. So as far as best practices, I would most likely say teaching FR1 schedule, one behavior, one token, earn the backup reinforcer to start. As far as the schedule of reinforcement with the token board, so an FR1 or a variable schedule, and when to change this, so when to move away from an FR1 and go to a variable schedule, how much to thin it out. All that was determined in this research lit review is that this varies across the board. Token economies can be used and have shown to be successful with differential reinforcement on a fixed interval or a fixed response, or on a variable interval or response basis. So essentially, this has to be learner specific. To answer how many tokens should an individual earn, research reveals a mix in this area as well, with some research showing a designated amount of tokens, but not necessarily how many tokens, and some showing a fixed or variable amount of time before an exchange can be made. However, nothing says what the right amount is. So again, this needs to be learner specific. There are plenty of other things discussed in this article. So like I said, I provided the reference just in case if you guys want to check it out. But for our purposes, kind of what the questions of the beginning of this video was, the areas of how to do a token exchange, so with counting, with eye contact, give back the tokens, and how to deliver the tokens, so with eye contact and what scheduled, those were not discussed. So unfortunately, as I kind of suspected, there isn't a lot of research about the particular details of the token economies or use of token boards. So, it's best to continue to individualize for our learners and what is best for their success. So what's the takeaway point from this? Being that there's not much hard research to show really all of the parameters for token boards, I think what we need to rely on is our behavior analytic knowledge of systems of reinforcement, the knowledge that we have of our learners, because everything really will be individualized for our clients. So I think what's important is that even if you design the token economy system for multiple learners, they don't need to be exactly the same. If they're two different learners, they have different skills, they have different needs, and they're learning different things, you can individualize that token economy system to that learner, to each learner, and make it as customized as possible while keeping in mind your behavior analytic knowledge and skills and your knowledge of reinforcement and overall token economies. Thank you guys so much for joining me for the second installment of Jillian's Clinical Corner. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any ideas or suggestions for future topics, please shoot me an email. We will talk about it on the group collaborative call, and then I will do it as a topic for the next Clinical Corner. Hope that you enjoyed it, and thanks so much for joining me.